And that blew my mind so much that I decided this is what I'm passionate about. I'm Dr. Mike Carberry. I'm one of the founders with my wife, Colleen Carberry, and we created this company based on a model that we created 30 years ago, 30 plus years ago. I grew up not wanting to be a chiropractor. I wanted to be a business person. So I went to undergrad school and I graduated in 1983 from Stockton University in New Jersey with a marketing degree, a BS in marketing. My first job out of school was to be hired by a company that did advertising, and it was owned by a company called Dun & Bradstreet, which is the largest marketing company in the world. That gave me some great opportunity to see what it was like to work for a really big, successful company. And I realized that systems were a big part of that. I got into sales and I started doing sales and I was very successful at it, but it really didn't set my world on fire. It didn't really excite me. What happened was when I met my wife and we were dating, I had a serious neck injury. And that serious neck injury ended me up in the hospital fearing that I had a broken neck. Luckily I didn't, but at first everybody treated me like I did and it was pretty scary. I was put on medication, pretty strong medication to deal with the pain that I was experiencing. I was able to walk and I wasn't paralyzed. And so I was put on medication that was so strong that I was sleeping 30 hours a day. You do the math on that. So I started missing work. First time in my life I missed work, and I had to, got approval from my boss and everything, but I had to deal with this injury. Well, I went the traditional route and they put me on medication, and I did that for about 30 days. I woke up one day on a Thursday afternoon thinking it was Wednesday morning. That's when I realized this is not okay and this is not going to help me and I need to do something different. So I reached out and tried chiropractic. And chiropractic worked so well for me that not only did it correct the injury that I had, but I was suffering with headaches before I had that injury, which I realized now was connected to what was going on in my neck. And the headaches went away. And that blew my mind so much that I decided this is what I'm passionate about. This is what excites me. I'm going to go back to school and become a chiropractor. Against everybody's advice. My boss was saying to me, what are you, crazy? But I had the fire, and it was something that really spoke to me and it felt right, so that's why I did it. And I went back to school. My wife supported me on it. And so went to school, became a chiropractor, graduated in 1991, opened my practice in 1992. I was so fired up to educate the world on chiropractic, which became my mission, that my practice grew very quickly. By 1994, I was seeing over 425 visits a week in 4 days. So that was over 100 patients a day, and I had no associates. I was doing that by myself. I did that, and I wanted to continue to grow. But I started noticing something with my patients that bothered me. I would do phenomenal results with these guys when I started adjusting them. I had people telling me things that I couldn't understand, like my sense of smell came back, and I haven't had my sense of smell for 20 years. My hearing got better, my vision changed, my digestion got better, my menstrual cycle came back. I thought I was over that. All kinds of weird things. But people started having tremendous improvements in their health. But when I stopped doing the treatment, the original complaint slowly started coming back. And I wanted to fix that. I didn't want to just give them a temporary fix. I knew I could give them a permanent fix. I just didn't have that technology. Well, my research took me to a guy named Vladimir Janda, who was a medical doctor from Czechoslovakia, who specialized in chronic degenerative arthritis, specifically on the spine. What he found was when somebody has a chronic problem, which most of our patients that come in are chronic patients, their injury stems way back to an old injury they had 10, 15, 20, 30 years earlier. And what happens is during that time, their posture remodels itself to the injury. And what he said was, if you improve the biomechanics with things such as chiropractic, that would be good, but if you don't address the posture, it'll keep coming back. And there was my answer. So I wanted to figure out, okay, let's put a rehab together. I'm married to a physical therapist. This is perfect. We could work together. Well, the first obstacle we ran into was the State of Pennsylvania Physical Therapy Association did not recognize the chiropractic referral. And they told my wife, if you work off referrals from your husband, we're going to take your license away. So we thought, that's stupid, what are we going to do? And my wife suggested, why don't we bring in a medical doctor to order physical therapy? And I thought, there's no way I'm ever going to do that. I am a straight chiropractor. I don't believe in medical treatment. I don't want people being put on drugs. I was a little bit incorrect in my thinking. I do know that we are over-medicated, and that is definitely a fact. But what I didn't realize is probably about half the medical doctors out there agree with what I just said, that we're over-medicated. And they were looking for something less invasive, less dangerous. They didn't like prescribing all the drugs. They wanted to be able to help people, but they just didn't know how. So we literally had hundreds of doctors apply for the job. And what we were hearing from them is, I'm tired of all the crap in medicine, all the stuff I have to deal with insurance companies and all the medication I'm prescribing, and I don't even know what it even does anymore. So there was a lot of people looking for a change. We ended up creating a medical clinic, pioneering this idea back in the 1990s when there were very few medically integrated practices. And we had to figure out how to make it work. So we did, and we spent the next 35 years creating systems to make this work really well. We probably hit that magic moment in the mid 2005, 2006, 2007 era, where we knew we had enough systems that we could create multiple clinics to make it work. And we opened up 3 clinics in 1 year in 2007 in the state of Tennessee. And we have never lived in the state of Tennessee. Those clinics are still functioning today. I've sold them all off. The last one I sold off was a year ago, but they're still functioning, still very profitable, still helping people. We would have patients saying, you know, I forget why I originally came in here, because it was fixed and gone. I never saw that before. That's what this model does. This model that we have is phenomenal. One of the most phenomenal things in healthcare. So we wanted to actually bring it to more people, and we realized opening our own clinics wasn't fast enough. So we started AMI in 2013, where we started teaching this model to other clinics. Since that time, we have helped open over 1,000 clinics in 48 states, plus Puerto Rico, plus we just signed a client in New Zealand. So we're just starting our international journey. We want to grow this model. This model is a missing piece of healthcare. We're not going to cure everybody, but what's going to happen is this. These clinics will generate more income than other clinics, like chiropractic clinics and alternative healthcare clinics. They will generate more income, but for every dollar spent in one of our clinics, there will be thousands of dollars saved in the traditional healthcare model because they're not going down to that end route. That's what our mission is. That's what our model is. We want to grow this model not only to the chiropractic community, but to other medical providers, and not only to the United States, but to other countries. That is our mission, and we would love to have you be part of that mission.